Good morning, everybody. Just double checking these S&P numbers, the spreads. So got a little buy set up here on the futures. And I always remind everybody the day has just begun. Trading over that high there so far, looking good. We'll see what happens as it reaches some resistance. If it can reach the 50 MA, which is right overhead. You can see it's starting to break out a little bit. And why is it happy this morning? I don't know. Celebrating 9/11, maybe. I don't, who knows? The dollar's down a little bit. You can see the futures here. The other futures markets, currencies are up, which means the dollar's down. Nothing of great significance here. I mean, percentage-wise, Australia's up 1%, but technically things were set up to at least attempt a move higher. It all depends on where they close the day. So Friday, maybe just lower volume, but as it hit the 50 MA, despite it hit the 50 MA, it was just a drift down, as you can see here all day. Just drifted down into some support. Just a go nowhere day, but it gave back the wide range bar, that initial move up. So where are they right now? Well, gapping above Friday's high, coming up to Wednesdays, and there's an unfilled gap. Take note of that. That'll be a probable stopping point. Let's bring that up here. So it's not into there yet. So coming up into there, and 450, whole number, obvious reference point, and then we'll see how sellers look to take control from that point. And just at the weekly chart here, gapping up in the middle of the range of last week. So good start. Is it taking out any significant support? No. It's in the middle of last week's range. So far, obvious place for a technical attempt to go higher. At least it negates the potential for now for taking out Thursday's low, which I don't think they would have stopped at 440. We'll see what happens as we get into all the economic numbers on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And of course, we got an options expiration. So the real activity starts the middle of the week and into the end. Right now, let's say technical bounce off of this strong move up into resistance. It took out the pivot high, pulled back to the 20. And then I think Friday was just a lack of any significant volume or people around and commitment. So we'll see how that all ends up. Right now, as you can see, it's just continuing to inch up a little bit toward that unfilled gap area. SPX, the downside would appear to be the no-brainer. 44.10 down below, 45.10 up above. The average range over the last week or so has been about 35 points. So considering it's starting here, that 45.10 is a lot closer. But I don't think it'll, it could get there. It's not that far. Just because there's an unfilled gap there. If buying is strong, that doesn't mean it has to stop just because it hits an unfilled gap or the beginning of resistance. But down below, again, starting up here and still having the upward momentum going, 44.10 appears to be a no-brainer right now. No significant news, but you never know. But best we could do is assess the situation and the probability. So that 45.10 should be good. Just trying to ask any Tesla snap and crap potential. Well, Tesla got an upgrade this morning and it's gapping above this base, so it looks pretty darn good. I can type the damn symbol correctly. You can see where it's at. It's gapping above this consolidation and above the 50. There is some resistance there. So I don't know what it's going to do for sure, but it's certainly it's starting off from a good spot. Wide range bar, chop, 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 which way is it going to go? Upgrade, they're buying it here. So I wouldn't bet against it. Maybe letting it, let me a 30-minute high would be a reasonable consideration, or even just seeing how it ends up by the end of the day, and then tomorrow can continue. So, the only thing that's going to negate that is complete collapse. But anyway, even if it sells off pre-market, and look at where it's at, it comes down into this area right here, the pivot high, which was resistance. If it comes down to it, there'll probably be buyers here if it does pull in. So, keep an eye on it. You'll have to make a decision intraday. The trouble in the markets, and I want to see how much the transports come back from this breakdown. Right? Last week, they broke under these two pivots. They closed under the next pivot. They got room. So whatever's happening here pre-market, I want to see what do the transports do that look pretty bad right now, like they're going to continue to go lower. So if these don't recoup in the next day or two, something of significance here, that's a vote for the bearish bets. So we'll see how this ends up. We don't have any data here, it doesn't update. And if we look at the ETF, it really doesn't tell us very much either. So really not much going on there. Maybe ugly measured move. It could be, Robert. Let's see where the markets close here today. Just because they're up pre-market doesn't mean they're going to be there at the end of the day. So we can't be all bullish and enamored just because prices are gapping up. And let's see how they hold up. You see gap ups that get sold into immediately. Let's see where the Qs are at. They're moving up here. You see how much they gave back. And there's a lot of tech stocks that look pretty questionable. Semiconductors, and you see how they on this Thursday, XLK and the semiconductors all gap down. They're going sideways. So, just because the market's up here a bit doesn't really mean much of anything until we see a strong close and how deep it can get up into overhead resistance. Because right now things are just trading between support and resistance. I don't know what's happened here, if that's real. But it's coming up into resistance. Let's look at if it closes above here. It's a good start to the day. Let's, bottom line, let's see where it ends. Futures. If it closes like this, we have to assume it's going to make an attempt to go higher. So again, it's still, within a range with resistance here, and top of the range, bottom of the range. Could be a head and shoulders top. And I was kind of, looking at things over the weekend and for the letter, it was kind of indecisive as to which way things are going to go here. We just need a little bit more information. Either way, what might look significant in any day is just within this fat trading range at the moment. And you can see similarly, the same kind of pattern and trading range in the Dow, which has been weaker. UNH looks like it's threatening, to move down. And where that's not doing anything here this morning. Keep an eye on this. If it starts to break, it's the highest price stock in the Dow. Apple, that broke down. Very nasty move. Where is that now? It's gapping up into this area over here, but just look at that weekly chart with that reversal. That's pretty negative. And technically the Russell bouncing off of this low here. That gave it all back. Look at that reversal on the weekly. So we got to see how much prices can try and regain what they lost. Last week, the regionals that looked like they were going to go higher, that failed and broke down. So there was a lot of reversals of what looked like they could go higher. So it was a big disappointment last week as far as, the bulls being able to move things up to some area of resistance, and that all gave it away. So, we just got a whole bunch of whippy type of price action. Oh yeah, there's a lot of information. Look at Wednesday, Thursday, and Fridays packed with economic news. On Wednesday, you've got core inflation, CPI. Thursday, you've got retail sales, PPI, initial jobless claims, continuing jobless claims. Friday, there's Michigan consumer sentiment and some other numbers that are coming out at 9, industrial production. So the end of the week is packed. And then you've got the options expiration. So there's plenty to move the markets later in the latter part of the week. All right. Look, gasoline's been going up. So this is a negative. There is crude oil. Look at that. So far the market's just brushing this off, but we all know that's a concern, an inflation concern. And it looks like it's going to go higher, acting bullishly after a strong move up, creating a void. Market don't care about that right now, and that's rising. And interest rates starting to inch up a little bit now, not anything of significance, but look, if the 10-year takes this out and it starts moving up, and the dollar, you can see these currencies that it trades against are up on the day. If that reverses, I think the markets are going to fall. So you can keep an eye on, the 10-year or TBT, which is actually gapping up and pulling back a little bit. So, the markets are this morning so far are ignoring some of the things that pushed it lower in the past. So, we got to be careful every day. This market has been very erratic, especially with the news. One day it's, the Fed's going to stand pat. The next day is, maybe they're going to raise. So it's pretty schizo trading based on the news day to day. I'll keep that in mind. And yeah, Russell ETF, gapping up here. So as I said, it's a good start. Interest rates relatively tame for the moment. Tesla acting well, other FANG stocks gapping up a bit. So it's a good start. We'll see where it ends. And Dan will cover some bullish stocks that still look pretty darn good. So we'll see at the end of the week whether we'll have a better idea whether this September negative month will actually play out as such. Right now, it looks like that bet is off in the moment. All yours, Dan.
Good morning. I have a ton of alarms going off here this morning. Official trades, watch items. And it was easier finding bullish setups. But, as Greg said, I was wanting today and tomorrow also to get more info. But yeah, the gap up is good info right now. Gapping over Friday's tail decisively. So 30 minutes, I'm probably going to chill and see how deep we retrace, if any. And then be looking to get into a lot of these bullish things that I'm then have alarms going off. We actually had a put spread on IWM. My alarm just went off. Now I made this one over at Thursday's high just to be a little bit more confident instead of Fridays, just because of the big deep move. And then look at the weekly. Weekly's a nasty 180. So we do not expect a new high, particularly in one move up. All right, so this pulled in a little bit. Raul on YouTube, DBRG long. Sure, the buy setup in an uptrend, sure. Can't tell where it's gapping. Ideally, it's opening flat, and then it'll just be a clean entry over on Friday's high. DBRG, I'll add it to the list. So Tesla, Greg mentioned. We actually were watching this Friday at the high of the day. I said, if it closed near the high of the day, I would be interested in selling a put spread, but you can see it obviously didn't. But now that we're gapping up over it, that's a big gap. So there's, so Greg, I don't know if you answered the guy accurately who asked about, he was asking about a gap and crap. But
On
this,
Tesla?
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's got support now that it's gapping above resistance. So I think there'll be buyers there.
No, I know. I'm just saying, I don't think you directly answered his question. And so my direct answer is it's not a gap and crap candidate the way we define it. This is a bullish igniting gap that we're looking to buy on a pullback. Now, so it doesn't mean it won't come in to give you a scalp, but we have no idea. And it's just the daily is not a gap and crap candidate because it's a bullish gap. Gap and crap candidates are short-term exhaustion trades.
And if it was going up, say, for 4, 5, 6 days and then gapped up to resistance, that would be what you'd look for.
Exactly. All right, so yeah, Microsoft was in the weekend letter, put spread. Let's see, this one I can just eyeball it. It's not gapping as much over Friday's high, and it has a void. So 30-minute high, this could be a directional trade also. Walmart, it's up 3 bars already. I have a huge list, Thomas, of beautiful setups. Remember in the green room, we were talking about this on Wednesday, being the buy setup entry. Our Oracle has earnings after the bell. On Tuesday, that was a nice continuation gap. But now there's nothing to do with this now. It's sure bullish though, daily, weekly, monthly. Apple's all over the news. They got their new product day tomorrow. I guess they do it they make a big conference out of it. I guess they're talking about raising price on their phone $100. That'll be interesting to see how the public deals with that, with all this inflation and their credit card debts being jacked up. So, yeah, it's a nice 1, 2, 3 following a 180. And I like the fact that it's not extended. It's bullish consolidation pre-market here, and it has a void. So yeah, I like that one, Thomas, a lot. You see why I like that one better than Walmart? No. Well, Steve, that's a gross oversimplification. What they did was they're restricting it just among, their government officials. No, if they, are you kidding me? I mean, just do a Google search of how many products they sell in China, and that would be an enormous whacking if they did that. All right, Qualcomm. Wow, I don't remember this getting whacked so bad on Thursday. But now it had some news. Wow, that's gapping up over Thursday's high. That's a shock bar. It's kind of slopping around here pre-market, but that's a put spread idea. Amgen, this is one Greg mentioned in his video. It's a nice bullish weekly here. It's just the daily's not in alignment. Ether he mentioned. So, you know, that's a 4 bars, but looks good. Snow, nice gap breakout on Friday, put spread watch. Housing here. Now this is a bear 1, 2, 3, but it didn't have a big void is the problem. So it's just a range bound mess. AutoNation closing breakdown, the top of the range to the bottom. If this can't bounce, notice it's a closing breakdown on the weekly 180. So this is a fantastic candidate for a continuation pattern lower, but I need it to go sideways in a day or two. Bravo Victor, I think this was on Sam's list. It's a buy setup, made a lower low though, but it's still a buy setup with a void. I have an alarm at 8:32, I think. Marvel. So what pattern is this? It was a sell setup up here, but now it's a gap reversal, possible higher low. So if it can get over Thursday's high, then that's a put spread idea. Papa Hotel buy setup. But you know, I don't like buy setups that come in violently like this. So look at this red bar. It's kind of it's the biggest red bar in however how much data I have here. So it's not ideal, but I have an alarm set. India Romeo, this one I like. Kind of a 1, 2, 3. So it got rejected on Thursday. So that has to be your entry, Thursday's high. I forget if I gave this official or if I just have an alarm, I forget. You know, I got an email today. Somebody asked a YouTuber from MT Live. He's like, oh, how many weekly options trades do you give? And when do you give them? You know, there's some services that they say, I will give you 3 trades every Friday at 2 p.m. And my reaction to that is, are you a friggin' idiot? You're forcing the clock of when you want to give trades. And so we found that I have a ton in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have 14 new weekly option trades this weekend. So the point I'm getting at is the market dictated, and last week we had unusually light week for the weekly options trader. So the market tells us when to push the throttle, when things are lining up. Yeah, IPG I like a lot. Again, I have so many trades, I forget if this is on my list or not. Looking real quick. No, it does not. But I like this one a lot. David. In fact, I like it so much. I'm just going to put it here in the bottom right. IPG looks great. Yeah, Uber was a beautiful, beautiful buy setup. That we entered Friday over Thursday's high, and we also sold puts. All right, where did I leave off here? Raymond James. It's making the turn. Notice this was a downtrend, took out a pivot high. Now it's a potent wide range reversal, making a higher low. Look at the weekly. Is a buy setup with a 180. So this, I did not give official, but it's on the watch list. Looks great. And compare Papa Hotel and Dash. But they're different. They're different, Scott, because Dash is coming off a much deeper retracement, but it blasted through this resistance, and it's a controlled, beautiful buy setup with a beautiful void, with a beautiful weekly. Whereas Papa Hotel, it did not make a new high, and it got slammed different. So yeah, they're very, very different setups. Here's a buy setup too, cat, but same. It kind of came in hard, and I don't have a potent turn, but I see it gapping up here. So 30-minute high, that's a put spread idea. Same, GPN is a buy setup, but the retracement happened from a breakout failure. So yeah, there's all different, every single pattern. We could talk about different levels of quality to them, even though they're all buy setups, they're all breakouts, they're all 1, 2, 3s. So team here is a 1, 2, 3. Bullish weekly, monthly. That looks great. Over the highs, I gave that as a put spread. HPE is another buy setup. That is a buy setup, textbook. Went up, retracement. So the only part I don't have here is a potent reversal yet. But over Thursday's high, which might be, yeah, my alarm did go up actually. All right, so this 30-minute high, I like this one. I just want to wait and see what the markets do and see how this holds up. So I'm going to put this in a pattern in a 5-minute window. Looks great. HPE. Echo Charlie. Yeah. That broke out, but didn't go very far. Gapping up here, another 30-minute high. I like. Echo Charlie. EXCL. No, I don't like that one at all. So since we're talking about some buy setups, all right, well, I'll say quick here because my alarms are going nuts here. Tick opened up at 1250. Goldman Sachs is moving. Remember that was on my put spread watch on Friday. So no, I don't like this one at all because it's a sloppy buy setup from a climactic sell setup. And you got to climb on the weekly too with a 180. So I did that one, not at all. All right, ton of alarms going off here. TEL is I've been watching for a potential double bottom. I just need a potent retest, which I don't have. Papa Hotel. All right, so I have so many alarms. I gotta just verify which are official and which are just alarms for me. So IWM was official as a put spread. You just got to go see what the premium is. Yeah, below we did I gave that as a directional on Friday. And the stupid gap messed us up. But I did do, I did give, yeah, that's a beautiful gap, sure, over 8 bars there. But I did, we did a put spread at least. So Goldman's a big old double bottom. You know, I don't know if you're gonna get anywhere near getting filled, probably not. Bigger the gaps, you know, you're not gonna get filled at the limit I posted. All right, Key was a bank. I gave as a put spread. Flowers, flowers is triggering. That's a 1, 2, 3. Ava, this was a positive Barron's article. That's, well, I'm India Romeo. I'm just getting slammed with alarms here today. India Romeo looks great. 180, 1, 2, 3. That's a go. Caesars. I gave that as a half lot as a 4 long. The daily, weekly, monthly look great. And a put spread. PNFP as a bank. All right, so let's do this one 5-minute high, 68.41.